YouTube channel. Today I have with me Mike Spinelli from The Drive. I'm sure all of you know him, and we paired up today heading down from Spartanburg through Savannah and then onto Amelia. And Mike, tell me, what are we driving today?
So, this is
see that smile already.
I mean, it's okay. It's obviously BMW M5, right?
Yep.
And so CS is what, competition sport? Well, what is it?
So
what does the
that's
CS actually mean?
So that's a very good question. We haven't talked about that. So initially, I think the CS name came from Club Sport.
Okay.
And that was the initial name, back in the day. And then they kind of changed to competition sport. So it's unknown. I would say I'm still gonna go with Club Sport, even though I think competition sport is what they officially use.
Right.
So yes.
Although I don't know whether they've said or whether the reps down here are.
They didn't really say, but
really into saying what it is. I don't know. They're a little bit cagey about it.
Exactly, and they just call it the CS basically. I think
Right.
that's just easier. But
Right.
yeah, so M5 CS. I mean, some of you guys might know the specs, but let me just remind you, it is the most powerful series production BMW ever made. So aside from racing cars, this is it. It will be replaced next year by the BMW XM, so that will go over 750 horsepower. But this one has 627 from a 4.4 liter V8 twin turbo, 553 pounds-feet of torque. And we tested the car, and Current Driver did as well, on a drag strip, and we managed to do about 2.68, and I think Current Driver did 2.6. So
it's crazy
fast, right? I mean, and I drove the car before, so the reason why I wanted you to kind of, jump with me on the video is really to tell me your first impressions.
Yeah,
because,
and it's literally first impressions, because not only have I not been in the most updated M5 for a while, because I've been behind a desk for the last 3 or 4 years. To jump into the top one, that's I mean, we're at 500. What did you just say? 553 pounds-feet.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. It's like it's funny though, because it's tempered by the fact that I've been in a Tesla recently, but it doesn't sound like this.
It doesn't sound like this. I mean, wow.
Oh my God. I could have just left it in 6th gear though, because it just pulls like mad.
It just pulls. I mean, the red line was so far out, and
yeah,
I mean, that's kind of the beauty of this car. They kind of tuned up everything on it, right? They've done work on the suspension. I feel like the steering wheel is extremely sharp. I don't think there is a BMW car today there's such a good steering. Maybe the M2 CS, but I feel like this one it's even stiffer, more direct. There's a lot of feedback coming through. It's never going to be like a mechanical one though, right? So if you expect that, probably not. But the EPS in this one, it's quite good.
Well, I think the calibrations are getting better and better anyway, right?
Yeah.
And then this car is a little bit lighter, right? So it's at a 4,100-ish pounds.
Yeah.
And it's got the Pirelli P0 Corsas, so they're already transmitting a little bit more, so it's not a completely dead feel. At the same time, we switched driver spots, and I just drove right out onto 95. So the only experience has been on the on-ramp to an interstate. So we'll see if we get to
some curvy roads.
Some curvier roads
see that,
down here.
But I mean, I can share some of that. I mean, I was on track recently in Palm Springs, and I had a chance to really floor the car. And what I like about this one is the fact that it has so much grip. I mean, the grip, it's unbelievable. And even on that technical track, you can push the car quite hard, and there is grip all the way. And of course, the all-wheel drive system helps quite a bit, so you can go fast. But what I like about this one also, it's the fact that I can go into a two-wheel drive mode also. So you turn up the DSC, you switch over to two-wheel drive, and you can have a lot of fun, honestly. I mean, it's a little bit dangerous with the DSC off and all of that, but you can spin that tail quite a bit. So that's the beauty of this M5, I think, generation, that you can really go back and forth from all-wheel drive, still have a real-wheel drive, feeling too. So.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that, this is, again, one of those things that I didn't sort of think that we needed, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, years ago, just think, did we need a fully, completely adjustable and defeatable all-wheel drive system? It's, I mean, it's completely change or increase the dynamic
I mean,
range.
this is
of
unnecessary car. I mean, there is no reason why they should build this one. I think they only build this one because they can.
Well, it's one of those things where, I mean, you got to give the engineers something to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So, but also, it is really the M flagship by every sense of the word.
Even price-wise, I mean, this one. What do you say?
The sticker is $153, but I think they accidentally put
the paint twice.
The paint, so the paint's $5,000. So it's the what is it? The
frozen
green,
deep green metallic.
Frozen deep green metallic.
Fancy name, yeah.
A $5,000 option, which I think is on the Monroney twice, right?
So about 147,
148.
Yeah. And not cheap. I don't think there is anything more expensive than this one today. Maybe the Alpina XB7, so that'll be the SUV, but on the BMW lineup, I don't think there is. I think the most expensive one was the M760 Li, the V12, but that was discontinued basically recently. So I think this will be probably the most expensive one today as well, aside from the Alpina ones. But yeah, I mean, what I like about the car too, and that's one thing that we've talked about it before, it's really the bucket seats. I love the bucket seats, front and back. Of course, it's less practical if you want to, carry more people in the back. And probably like a car seat, it will work, but it's just not might be ideal.
Well, they're ridiculously supportive, right? Because you have this front piece of carbon.
I mean, this notch here, it's kind of weird.
This notch, right? But I mean, for me, like for small people, I don't know about you. I mean, you're about.
It doesn't bother me. Actually, the first time that I jumped into a seat like this was in the M3 and M4. It was a little bit annoying. Yeah. But I got used to it, honestly, and it doesn't bother me as much.
Yeah, and as sports seats, as like the extreme sports seats,
exactly.
These are really comfortable.
Yeah.
Like it's not, Porsche does one that's similar. It has a similar feel.
Yeah.
But I think they've gotten the comfort dialed in a little bit, and it feels like there's a little bit more lumbar
support. Yeah, you can feel that too.
Yeah.
You can feel the bump here actually. Yeah. If I put my hand.
And it's like it's a little bit more damped and padded down there. So it's a sports seat. It's supportive. It's aggressive. Yeah,
plenty of carbon fiber all around. So of course, they got to make it a little bit more special. I think the hood also, it's got the vents, and it's a carbon fiber hood as well.
Yeah. So it's what did you say? 250, 230, something lighter.
Lighter than that's kind of what it is. About 200 pounds lighter than the other one. I like the steering wheel. It's beefy, but not as beefy as on the M2. I feel like.
It's funny. I was never a fan. I think we were talking about this before. I was never a fan of the beefy BMW steering wheel. Lately I've gotten to really like it. Yeah. And this one, this is similar to the later period ones that are just slightly less beefy, but really comfortable. Alcantara, it just says sports car.
Exactly.
Right. I wish we could try the transmission modes a little bit more, because you can adjust how aggressive they slam in. It's the CF8 speed, which is in everything.
It's got a track mode also. I remember using that track mode.
Wait, what chassis mode are we in? Because it's comfortable.
So you're in road right now, so now you're in track. So basically, this will be the most aggressive one. So now you can see their Sport Plus.
I feel like on the M5 in general, compared to the M3s, right? I mean, the track setting isn't as aggressive to your spine on the road as the M3. So it feels like it's a little bit, a little bit more comfortable.
They still consider this one like a business sedan kind of thing.
Yeah, well, ride quality. That's why I think this has always been a ride quality monster.
Well, let me switch over and tell me what you feel in the road mode, which will be the most the softest one, basically.
By the way, we're in 8th.
We're in 8th right now, yeah.
And it still pulls.
It still pulls. It's crazy. So right now you're in the softest mode, basically. So the engine is efficient, chassis comfort, steering comfort. So it should really be softer to drive. Yeah,
I mean, it's funny because they saved weight by pulling out some of the sound dampening, but it's not loud. You sort of still feel isolated from whatever's happening outside. Yeah. But it's not. In other words, you're not sacrificing really anything, for the sort of lighter weight version, right? I mean, it's just the same. It's not
kind of the same. Yeah.
One thing we can tell on on an interstate is that it's comfortable. You're not sacrificing anything for the super high performance model.
Yeah, and that's what. So I can share a little bit about that because I just remember. So when I talked to the engineers about this car, they said that they wanted to have a wide gap in between like the comfort mode and sport. So it's extremely wide, like wider than before, basically. And the idea was that some people don't want to sacrifice, comfort for for a sporty car. So that way, if they really want to be comfortable and like in a soft ride, then they will go all the way down to comfort. Now, if you go to Sport Plus, it's like totally, it's like the other extreme. So they should have done it on purpose, really, to cover a wide range of customers. But in my case, honestly, I always just put it up in sport.
Yeah.
I don't even bother with comfort,
Yeah, I mean, and in this, it's not like you're going to get your brains rattled.
Yeah, no. I mean that, and the only thing that with this car that could be annoying sometimes, it's not just this one, but all the new BMW. It's really the fake sound that comes into the cabin from the exhaust. Because it sounds good from the outside. I actually heard it with the burbles and all of that, but it's definitely enhanced from inside. Oh, yeah. So. Yeah,
I mean, I don't think there's any way to get around that. I mean, you need it. First of all, you need it, right? Because you need to hear the engine. Yeah. And there's so much, there's so much in between you and the sound of the intake that you're never going to hear it. So you have to, okay?
Which is too bad, right? Because that's why it's a good engine, yeah.
Right, because and everything is in the V, so it's not like there's a lot of noise.
All right, Mike, so before we clock out, tell me what's your favorite feature on the M5 CS?
Oh, I think I'm going to say the seats. And because they're really supportive, they're actually pretty comfortable, at least for somebody my size. Yeah. And if you're going to have a car that has super aggressive dynamics, right? I mean, and the incredible dynamic range that this thing has to go, in either way of just super high speed. Yeah. Or or crazy handling stuff. You just need to be planted in the seat, and you get both, like a long distance seat and a track seat. These are very cool. I'm going to go with that.
Awesome. All right. So let me think about mine. I mean, there are quite a few to choose. I might go with the yellow racing lights. So. It is actually,
those are cool.
The one thing we haven't talked about. So this is actually the second BMW offer with yellow racing lights. I think the first one, it was called BMW M8 1 of 8 Grand Coupe. It was kind of like a limited or first edition M8, but this is really the second one that came out, and they look fantastic at night. I mean, and especially when you pair them with this frozen dip green, I mean, they're super cool. And I'll try to grab some B-roll maybe later today and actually show them because they're extremely, extremely cool. And as a fun fact, if you guys don't know, they're going to be using similar yellow racing lights on the upcoming M4 CSL.
Oh, cool.
So that will have some really interesting lights from what I heard, front and back too. Can't really share more than that, but we will know more about that car very soon. So that's another cool product coming up. So with that being said, Mike, thanks for the quick thoughts on the car.
No problem.
For now, guys, let us know in the comments below what's your favorite feature on the M5 CS. Thank you for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you guys until the next one.